Something that is extraordinarily easy to do in our lives is give up. Or even worse, not even start doing the thing that we know we need to do or desire to do that will lead us to the best version of ourselves, whatever that means for us. Because I couldn't tell you what it is. You know what it is for you. You just need, and if you don't know what it is yet, you just got to look a little bit deeper. But see, the brain is wired for comfort, right? It's like we do the same routine every day. It may not make you happy and fulfilled, but your brain finds it comfortable. So it's hard to make changes. It's hard to step out of that comfort zone and try something new. But trying something new is the only way to get new results, right? But what makes this even easier, because our brains are already wired to want to do the same thing. What makes it even easier is that everybody else around us is also giving up, or not even starting, or not following their dreams, or starting to follow their dreams once it's New Year's and then stop a day later, right? It's even easier because everybody around us is not doing anything extraordinary either, right? And typically as human beings, we want to fit in, right? This is a natural phenomenon. We take it back to the caveman days. If you wouldn't fit in, you maybe would have been killed, or you would have been expelled, and you were out there in the woods by yourself and you probably would have died, right? So the brain still thinks death if we don't fit in. But the problem is, fitting in usually isn't what's going to grant you the best outcome for your life. Because if we look at statistics, this isn't universal, but especially in the United States, over 70% of people in the United States, all different salaries, different types of jobs, different genders, blah, 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 whatever, all of them say that they either dislike or hate their jobs. And so if you go down the path, and I'm not saying you can't work a 9-to-5 job or anything like that, because the statistic is 70%, right? There's still 30% of people that do enjoy their jobs, right? Point is, most people don't. So if you're going down the path that everybody else is doing, you're most likely not going to be super fulfilled, right? And so what it really comes down to is getting clear about what you want, because maybe that is what you want. Maybe what you want is to have, you want to finish your college degree and you want to get a secure job and you want to have a 401k, et cetera, right? And that's completely fine, but it needs to be what you want, right? Not what mommy and daddy say that you need to do, not what Sally, your teacher from 5th grade, said you needed to do, not what your friends are telling you that's what you should do. You should do it because it's what you desire to do, right? And if that isn't what you desire to do, then you need to take some time in your day to do something else. Something I struggled with a lot was not really knowing what I want to do, but not ever looking to figure it out, right? I would sit in my head all the time. I don't know what I want to do, but I wouldn't get anywhere because I wouldn't actually try anything new. So what we have to do is, in order to get to a destination that we'd never been before, in order to get results that we'd never gotten before, we have to do something new. And I know sometimes this is scary, right? It's like, well, I'm super comfortable doing what I'm doing now. Well, I don't want to go out and meet new people or try this new thing that's a little bit scary, right? But if we don't do that, we have to think about the long-term effect of this. If we think about the general population, especially because of how the media works nowadays, advertising, the news, everything is put here for your instant gratification, for the pleasure centers in your brain to instantly light up the second you see it, and for you to get hooked on it and spend all of your time for the rest of your day doing it. What they want is for you to work all day, work your ass off, get paid a certain amount of money, and then what they want is for you to sit on your phone, watch TikTok, watch the news all day, and get stuck in that. That's what the higher society, the government, whatever you want to label them as, this is what they want, right? They want control, and they want you to be able to sit there and not really do much with yourself. And I'm not saying you can't ever scroll on TikTok, you can't ever learn something new because there's good information on there. I'm not saying you can't ever watch the news. When you get addicted to it, like you get addicted to anything, it's not good. And these tasks that we indulge in that make us feel good in the short term, also including drugs, alcohol, partying, hooking up with people, going out when you know to get work done, list goes on. Short-term pleasures lead to long-term regret. Think about that. Short-term pleasures lead to long-term regret. Now, why is this? Most people know that they're not really happy. They're not where they want to be in life. But it's hard to sit down with yourself and be alone with your thoughts and think about that. So what we do is we distract ourselves. We go to school. So many people who are my age and younger, you go to school for when you're in high school or before, 7 hours a day plus. You're a college student. You're working your ass off, right? And you work your ass off. You might not be enjoying the classes you're taking, but it's what you've been told to do, so you're doing it. And Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is your escape. You go and party, you drink, you get messed up, and this is fun, right? In my eyes, now this is just my opinion, that's not really fun to me. I love learning about new knowledge, having conversations about it, getting deep with people, really learning about people and the way they work and how people think about certain things, what they actually think, because so many of us are always putting on a mask in public and we don't act how we should or who we authentically are because we're trying to fit in, right? And the problem with this is nobody ever gets to know who you really are, and then so you can never actually receive love. Now, if we don't reveal to people who we actually are, it's very hard to gain actual meaningful connections. Point is, most of us aren't living the lives that we desire to live, and we're not trying enough to find out what that is or move towards it. Right? Taking it back to what I was saying before, the only way that I found that you can truly figure out what you want is by sitting alone by yourself with your thoughts and thinking about it and observing what comes up, right? And, it's very easy to get to the point where you're like, okay, well, I'm 16, 17, 18, 19, 25 years old, whatever, and, I haven't been living the life that I want to live, and I don't feel fulfilled. It's hard to even start. It's hard to try because you're like, well, I've gone so long without trying or living the life that I desire, so you don't even know where to start. In some degrees, I could tell you where to start, start indulging in healthier habits, stuff like that, but generally speaking, you're the only person who knows how your mind exactly works and what exact goals would work for you and what things aren't going well in your life, right? And the only way to do this is to meditate on it, to journal about it, to think about it, right? And ask yourself, how often do you even do this, right? I mean, I've noticed in my near past where anytime I'd finish a task, whether it was with work, I was editing the podcast, anything, second I finish, I pull out my phone and I, start texting people or scrolling, right? And it's like, there's no moment, aside from maybe when you're trying to fall asleep, there's no moments where you're actually sitting here in the present moment, observing yourself and your thoughts, right? And when we don't do this, we're taking away life from us. Because when we sit here on a phone screen, this little rectangular thing, we go into a different reality. Now that might sound crazy to you, but I really want you to think about this. You go into a different reality. How many times have you sat on your phone for an hour and then you end up looking up after an hour and you look at the clock and you're like, oh, wow, I've been sitting here for an hour? You've been in a different realm, right? And when you're out in public typically and you're texting someone, someone is talking to you and they say something and you're like, yeah. And then after that, you have no idea what they said, or you're looking on your phone in public and something crazy happens next to you and you don't even notice that it happened because your awareness is just not in reality, right? And I'm not saying phones are bad because they can be very good, absolute great tools for learning knowledge, being able to communicate with people, but spend way too much time on this thing and not in our own brains, right? And this is what leads us to not even know who we are. And so if we don't even know who we are and how our brain works, it's hard for us to then get clear on what our goals could be and where we want to be in our life, right? It's just a constant flurry of I'm lost, I don't know why, right? Because you don't know yourself. And what we have to do now, a key in discovering who we are so we can get clear on what we want for ourselves is acceptance. Incredibly easy to get mad at yourself for not being productive enough or being where you want to be and feeling unfulfilled. Like I was saying before, I felt unfulfilled my entire life. What am I supposed to do? Think about how your brain works and have the thoughts come in, let them come in. They might be primarily negative of, oh my God, you're a failure, I can't believe it, just observe them, right? You are separate from we have this weird belief in our society that we are our thoughts. They are a part of our existence, but they are not us. We are separate from the thoughts. We are the awareness behind the thoughts, because think about this. The thoughts come in and you're also aware of the thoughts. So you can't be the thoughts if you're aware of them, right? I'm aware of this water bottle here, so I can't be the water bottle. Point is, you're the awareness behind it. So just sit there, analyze the thoughts that come in. And when a thought like, oh, you're just a failure, when it comes in, just analyze it. Okay. All right, this is I like to imagine it as a cloud with the label of whatever the thought is, like failure on here, and the thought's coming in. All right, I see it. All right, just accept it. Accept where you are right now, right? Accept what your brain is bringing to you. And then once you can accept where you are now, what the thoughts are, well, then you can work to change them, right? And a very powerful exercise you can do is change the phrases that you use in your mind, like battle those negative thoughts with just tell yourself a positive thought. Okay, let's say I'm a failure. No, I'm not a failure. I'm actually successful. I'm moving towards what I want to do. I'm trying to figure it out, thinking more positive and productive thoughts. And also making sure that in reality, whenever you're in a conversation with someone, never, ever speak bad about yourself. So many of us make jokes about ourselves. Like, oh yeah, I'm just stupid, this and that. Your brain does not know the difference between you joking or not. So when you say, oh, I'm stupid, your brain just starts to believe it. I shouldn't even be using the example right now because my brain right now doesn't know the difference of me saying it, and I'm just saying it for the video, right? But anyway, make sure that you don't even finish a negative statement when you're in conversation with someone, or just saying it out loud to yourself when you're by yourself. It might be a little awkward, you could say, but if you're about to say something negative about yourself to somebody in a conversation, stop talking during the sentence. During the sentence, stop talking. You might be start to say, well, I'm just a fit. Just stop and be like, no, actually, no, I'm moving towards what I want to do. I'm trying to figure it out, right? And it's that once you can change the way you structure your words and what you're putting out, because words, they call it spelling. They're spells. They have power to them. We think words are just words. Oh no, we can just throw them around. They don't mean anything. Words are energy, just like everything else in this reality, and they have a huge effect on your reality. So once you can change your words and make them more positive and productive, then your thoughts will become more positive and productive. Then your ideas can be more positive and productive. Then your actions can become more positive and productive, and then your life becomes more positive and productive, right? So make sure that you're feeding yourself positivity and essentially drowning out the negativity. Now, that's not to say that you'll never have bad thoughts again, right? And negative thoughts won't flow in. They flow in for me, right? And you just accept them. You're like, all right, I hear you. But, this isn't useful to me, so I'm not going to accept this. And so most of the time, there's invalidity. There's no validity to the negative thoughts that come in. Occasionally, there can be, right? You might do something that affects someone else negatively, and a thought comes into your mind of, oh, why would we do that? That's not good. And maybe that's a good thought. Like you think, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Then you change it for the next time, right? Point is, when we start to become more positive and productive with all of these aspects, then our reality starts bringing us more of these opportunities, right? And so if opportunity doesn't just come to you because when you're in a negative mindset and that negative mindset is affecting your words, your actions, ideas, and reality, well, then it's hard for opportunities to flow to you and to seem like they're here, right? But if you can change your thoughts and attitudes to be a little bit more positive, then the opportunities start to flow towards you, right? And so this is really about choosing to create the opportunity for yourself. You're asking the universe, God, whatever you believe in, to bring that closer to you, and it happens. Right? If an opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. That's what you're doing here. The opportunity isn't just coming to you because you're not in a great place right now, which is okay. You slowly build. You take a hammer, or however I don't know how to build a door, but however you build a door in physical reality, build it with your mind, right? And you build up that door, and you can open it, and oh, look at all these opportunities right here. And also, sometimes we have opportunities right in front of us. We just can't see them because we're such in a limiting mindset about ourselves. Like, we could think we're not good enough and that we can never be good enough. But if we change that mindset a little bit around of, no, I can be good enough, or I'm working towards that. Well, I like to use the example of you when you're stuck in that negative place, whether you're suffering from something as severe as depression or that really bad anxiety, or it's just you're struggling with some negative thoughts, you have a veil over or a curtain. Like, imagine a play that people have, right, on a stage, and you have a curtain that's closed, right? And the curtain slowly opens like this. You can start to see a little bit because your mind is always all negative like this, and then you start to think a little bit more positive, and it's like, oh wait, hold on, what is this on the other side? Oh, and then you start to see the truth, which is greatness, purpose, passion, happiness. This is what your reality naturally should be. So the veil is lifted, and you see all these opportunities right in front of you that may have been there before. You were just blinded by the negativity that you couldn't physically see them before, but they were there. And now you can see them there, and now you can take action on them. And the thing with opportunity is we have to take action on it. The universe, God, reality, yourself brings you these opportunities, but you still, most of the time, have to take action on it. Like, sometimes somebody will you'll be talking to somebody in public, and someone else will come up to you and they just start having a conversation with you, and then it just naturally flows and they say something that really hits you, and you gain a deeper connection with them, and you guys become friends or something like that, right? But most of the time, the opportunity may come, but you have to take the action. Like, you might see maybe there's someone who is in your local town that is pretty successful in something that you're desiring to do or have an idea about, and you see him out in public where you are. That opportunity to meet that person is now here. It was brought to you, but you still have to, in your conscious mind, make the decision, okay, I'm going to go up to them and I'm going to ask them a question. I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to talk to them. Because what so much at the time happens is Opportunities are brought to us and we don't take them, and then we blame God, the universe, outside reality, other people for it not working out when it was really just your fault, right? And there's no point in beating yourself up about it if you've been doing this your entire life or it's happened in the past. It still happens for me sometimes. There's still occasional moments where an opportunity comes up and I'm like, oh, I should do this, and then I don't do it and the moment passes. Right? And this is what should drive you. It's what drives me most of the time is regret. I don't want to feel regret. I don't want to reach the end of my life and feeling like I didn't accomplish what I wanted to do or go after what I wanted to do or talk to that person that I wanted to talk to. So majority of the time now, I will be able to go up to that person. I will be able to take the opportunity. I will take the idea and put it into reality, right? And this is the goal. This is the goal so for that the opportunities to come to you and for you to easily, it no longer takes a ton of effort, but it might at first. But it no longer, you get to the point where it no longer takes a ton of effort to go up to that person. It's just like, oh, I feel like talking to that person, just go up and talk to them, right? And there's tons of different ways to think about it, but the aspect of regret. Think about it in a sense of, okay, well, if I don't do this, my life is going to stay the same and maybe I'll miss a really good opportunity. Maybe you could have had a job offer from that person that you talked to or made a lifelong friendship, or that could have been your future wife, right? And I know these are big concepts to think about, but this is what can drive you to success and taking tons of positive action, right? Now, of course, you don't want to think about in the moment, okay, well, if I don't go up to them, I'm going to feel regret. It's just kind of like, all right, well, the general concept of, all right, well, my life is just going to stay the same if I don't go up to this person and talk to them. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen if you go up to a person, you try to talk to them? The worst thing that can happen is, maybe you read their body language a little bit and they don't want to be there. They want to escape the conversation, or they tell you off and don't have the conversation at all, or you ask for a girl's phone number and she says no. All these hurt in the moment for maybe 5-10 seconds, but they really have no real negative consequence on your reality, right? All you do is learn from, you could label it as failure, but it's really you trying. You were granted a lesson, right? It's maybe the tone in your voice was, maybe you sounded too out there or super energetic or way too energetic when you first talked to someone, so it turned them off a little bit, right? But generally speaking, a lot of people are in their own reality. But I would say in almost every experience that I have now, when I talk to new people, it's a positive experience. And most people do want to interact with other people, although a lot of people don't want to be, we don't usually want to be the ones to start it, right? Because it's easier if someone else just comes up to you and starts a conversation. Point is, connecting this all to creating your reality and going after your goals and getting clear on what your goals are and who you are and chasing purpose instead of pleasure and creating a life that fulfills you is you being able to meet these people. This further builds the confidence within your aura, your soul, your body, your mind, that you can do it, right? You might have crippling social anxiety like I used to do, and it's like you think, oh, no one even wants to talk to me. There's no point in talking to anyone. The girl's just going to say no to getting my accepting the phone number. There's blah, 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 and you have all these intrusive negative thoughts, and then you go up to someone, you actually go and talk to someone, and after the conversation, you're like, oh, well, that was actually pretty good. It wasn't bad at all. The point is, so many of our thoughts, like I was saying before, don't have validity to them. They're bullshit, right? And if we can take a little bit of action, just take small steps to moving towards what you want to do, meeting somebody new, you're getting out of your comfort zone and writing down your thoughts in a journal, if you've never done it before, and you're always just sitting in your mind overthinking about it, or going for a walk and thinking about this concept, because walking opens up your mind. I like to use the example for walking. Like, I'm sitting in a room right now. There's just a box. There's walls around me. There's energy in here, but it's pretty constricted. When you're outside and you're walking, when you're in nature, the limit is past the sky, right? The energy is abundant. It's flowing everywhere. And so all these ideas and creativity is flowing through you, right? And so go on some walks, journal, talk to new people. And if you're so socially anxious, it could just be just saying hi to someone. You walk past someone and public, hey, how are you? Oh, I'm good, how are you? Good. You just walk past each other. Like, that's a start, right? You don't have to go in and have a full-blown conversation with someone. Taking these little steps, because that's all of our life is made up. Literally, our life is just little things. The little things make up the big things. Your entire life is just habits. Okay, I go to the gym at this time, I wake up at this time, I do this at this time. They're just habits, and that your life is big, but they're all made up of these little things. And so when we can make the little mindset shifts, make the little choices, and make the little different decisions that will dictate our actions, our thoughts, and our words, then our reality starts to change. And you see this. You will start to see this very quickly. Within the first few days, or if not first few days, first week or two, right? And the most simple and perfect example I think that can get you to believe or see that you do create your reality, if you don't believe you do now, think about your polar opposite mood. We have many different emotions that flow through and out of us every day. But let's say feelings of happiness and feelings of anger or sadness. When we start our day and we notice that we feel happy, we feel pretty good, well, it seems like everything else is just going well that day, right? You notice that that person at work is just being nice today. You're in such a good mood, right? You feel like doing something nice for someone else. Ooh, that opportunity just came to you, and things just worked out today, and oh, you got this thing for free today. And then when you wake up and you're in a bad mood, it seems like the world is out to get you. Suddenly traffic is so much worse today, and John is being such an ass at work today, and it seems like there's no opportunities, and you're just in your head and everything just sucks. And so just your moods dictate your entire outer reality. It might be like you're living in the same reality here, but things actually change when you change things internally, which is very powerful to think about. And even if that didn't convince you that you create your reality, I want you to try these things and just do something that you enjoy for 5 minutes in the morning that will get you into a positive mood, and see how it affects the rest of your day. And just try these things and see how your reality starts to work for you instead of against you. So much of the time we may think, oh, well, my life just isn't good. Everything's just working against me. Sometimes it's just you working against yourself, right? Because your negative thoughts are dictating your reality, and then your reality dictates your thoughts, your mood, all that, right? Ultimately, if you can gain the ability to take these little steps will lead to big steps, leading to a bigger and better reality and a more fulfilled life. Thanks for tuning in.